Welcome to the F300 series, proudly brought to you by Vereeniging and the Exco Group. 12 karts have lined up for this first heat. There is a red light, it is lights out, and we are racing here at Zwartkops. And Ricardo's got the best start coming off the line into turn number 1. Calvin on the inside is going to try and hold that line away from Tyler, but Tyler managing to carry some more speed through there. He'll move himself up. David up into 5th place as we head into turn number 2. It is Ricardo away. It is Kevin in 2nd place and Tyler in a 3rd position. Some contacts just before they go into the tunnel. There's karts on the track, and that is David, Tyler, Cheslin and Logan all involved there. That's definitely going to hurt their chances in this first heat. It is Ricardo, Kevin and Tyler who are away in the first 3 places. They're exiting up out of turn number 8. They'll go through turns 9 and 10 over the bridge. Ricardo leads up into turn number 11, followed by Kevin and Tyler. There's Calvin, kart number 69 in the background as they across the start finish line. 18 minutes left to go. Kevin into turn number 1, rear a little bit loose, which has allowed Tyler to close up onto him. So Cameron 6th, Wyatt 7th and DB Racing in 8th, but Wyatt goes wide into turn 2, which allows DB Racing to move up a position. Kevin taking a wider line with Tyler tightening up on the inside through turn number 8. Kevin onto the rumble strips. That will slow down his straight line speed, and Tyler goes through. Across the start finish line they go. Tyler in 2nd place. Kevin in 3rd, having a look to the inside into turn number 1. He's able to get his kart number 16 in through there. Now they go towards turn number 2. Kevin just having a look over his shoulder to see where Tyler is. On the brakes, Kevin goes a little bit wide. Tyler up on the inside, a little touch. The replay shows a little contact as Kevin tries to straighten up that line, but they are safely under the bridge. Tyler is on the back bumper, too much space there, and Tyler now taking advantage of that opportunity, moves himself up into 2nd place. They go through turns 7 and up the hill into 8. Now into turn number 11, Kevin taking the tighter inside line, but that's not going to be quick enough because Tyler will be able to take that back. David straight on, having a little spin there on his own, going into turn number 2, you can see, and not happy with himself. Cheslin chasing down Wyatt on the main straight. Into turn number 1, there's enough space there. Cheslin takes an opportunity. He now moves himself up into a 7th position. Kevin having a go late on the brakes into turn 5, a little bit too deep, and Tyler maintaining the racing line and carries that speed all the way up towards turn number 6. As they head down into turn 7 and 8, Kevin right on the rear bumper now. They'll head up the hill. Across the start finish line, 6 minutes to go. A little look to the inside for Kevin. He's able to get that car in, carrying a little bit too much speed, and that allows Tyler to get that exit. Now they're going to go into turn number 2. Kevin able to get that car in line on the brakes and holds that position for another corner. We see Tyler having done this early in this race, but Kevin sees him coming and shuts the door on him. Now head towards turn 7. Tyler on the inside through turn number 8. Kevin on the rumble strips. That's going to slow him down. So Tyler will get that advantage. Now back into turn number 1. Kevin having a look into turn 1 again. And that rear a little bit loose, and that allows Tyler to go through and take that 2nd place back. DB Racing 7th. David 8th into turn number 1. Enough room there. David makes it an easy overtake at the end. DB Racing and David are side by side as they head towards turn number 2. But David getting the exit speed safely into turn number 2, and there's Wyatt, kart number 95. Through turn number 11 goes Ricardo. He'll cross the line to take the Heat 1 win here, followed by Tyler in 2nd place. Kevin will come home in 3rd. Calvin is 4th. Chloe 5th. Cheslin in 6th. David 7th. DB Racing 8th. And Wyatt in 9th place. It is Heat 2. It is lights out and we're racing here at the F300 at Zwartkops round number 2. Proudly brought to you by Vereeniging and the Exco Group. Kevin has the whole shot off the line, followed by Tyler, Calvin and then David. Head up towards turn number 6, and Tyler trying to go around the outside of Calvin, but Calvin holding that faster line. He will now carry that position through turns 7 and 8, but Tyler now looking to the inside as they go through turn number 9. Calvin must have got the better exit as he now goes into the front. Kevin down into 3rd place as Tyler goes through, followed by David, Chloe and Ricardo. So through turn number 9 and then 10. Calvin currently leading with Tyler second. It is Kevin in third and Ricardo in fourth, but he has a move to the inside coming through turn number 11. So Ricardo now up into a third place, into a turn 1. That is Tyler having a look to the inside on Calvin, and he's been able to make that move stick with Kevin now going to the inside. But that straight line speed of Ricardo's kart gets him from third all the way up into first place, going into turn number 2. Ricardo leads going into turn number 11 with David closing up on Calvin, and that's Kevin Parrott who's off on the track. He rejoins safely. Kevin is too deep into turn 8, which allows Tyler to move up through on turn 7. Kevin to the inside into turn 5. He gets himself ahead of Tyler once again. David nice and tight there as well, and he gets himself ahead of Calvin. David now on the outside up into 6. Tyler is tight and allowing Kevin to get away slightly. Race leader Ricardo, he will go through turn number 11 for the last time here at heat number 2. He will take the win, followed by Kevin in second. David is third. Tyler is fourth. Calvin fifth. Cameron moving himself up into 6th place. Ches in 7th. Chloe in 8th. DB Racing in 9th. Wyatt in 10th. Logan 11th. And TLC in a 12th position. So move on to the last heat of the day, proudly brought to you by Victron Energy and the Exco Group. It is lights out and we are racing. Kevin seems to have got the better start, followed by Tyler, and that is David now dropping down into 3rd place. He will have to just slot in behind Tyler as they go through turn number 1. Will they be single file as they go into turn number 2? It looks like they are, and so far so good. Ricardo down the inside of Logan, and that moves him up into a 9th position as they head through the tunnel. Hard onto the brakes into turn 5. They are going single file. Oh, spin there for Logan. Unfortunately, just turning in too much. The rear not hanging on. Now he's going to have to get out, get that kart back on the track. Still no marshals around. But he's doing a great job of pulling that kart back on the track, and off he goes once again. Then back to the front. Coming out of turn number 11, it is Kevin in front, Tyler second, David in third, and Calvin in 4th place. Kart number 69. Through turn number 1, it looks like Calvin's got a much better drive. He's going to go to the complete inside now for turn number 2. Will he be able to move up 2 places? Yes, he does. He is able to make that move stick. A great move there for him. David up through turn number 8, gets a great drive. He's going to get himself ahead of Tyler. Race leader Kevin got himself a little bit of gap over a 2nd place, who is Calvin, followed by David. Then we've got Tyler, Cameron, and then Ricardo coming up in a 6th place. Tyler having a late look into turn number 1 is able to make it stick, but David, the faster outside line, he will retain that position as they head into turn number 2. Ricardo follows Calvin going up through turn number 6. They head back down the hill through turn number 7. Flat out up the hill. Ricardo, a great tighter line there for him. Calvin goes a little bit wide, opens up the door. Ricardo setting up a move around the outside of Kevin, and that puts Ricardo out in front. A little thumbs up to his competitor. Was Chisholm chasing down Chloe. Chisholm's going to have a look into turn number 1. He's able to get that car braked, turned in, and he will move himself up the order, putting Cheslin now in 8th position. So coming into turn number 11 is the race leader, that is Ricardo. He'll cross the line and take 3 wins in a row.